You wake up, promise yourself just 2 minutes, and when you notice it, the coffee is already cold and your thumb is sliding as if it had a will of its own. The mind hums like a faint buzz, your chest feels a little hollow, and you sense you lost something you never even started. The title already poked you because it hits the sore spot. Today, you end the scrolling spiral with 5 stoic lines that work like kill switches. No long theory, no useless guilt. You want to step out of the trance and live inside your own body again. Stay with me and choose to stick around, because here you learn to protect your attention every day while you build routine and serenity. The simplest, strongest technique comes near the end and fits into 2 minutes, even when anxiety tightens and the world calls you by name. The cost of scrolling doesn't appear on a bank statement, but it charges daily interest. It steals sleep, flattens focus, shifts mood. You close the app and feel a residue of guilt that follows you like a shadow. It leaks into work, study, the conversation at the table. Your head is full and empty at the same time, crammed with things that don't move you an inch. Today, you dismantle this cycle from the inside. You'll understand what's under your control, reduce friction in your environment, create a landing for sleep, defend limits with short phrases, and train a presence that cuts the impulse without violence. You won't memorize concepts. You'll practice micro-protocols of 2 to 5 minutes and observe in your body what changes right now. Start with the control key. Your hand goes to your pocket, the screen lights up, and before you tap, you ask in an almost inaudible voice, "Is this under my control?" Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold 1, exhale for 6, and answer without drama. You control closing it. You control delaying for 10 minutes. You control opening it for 2 minutes with an alarm and leaving when it rings. The less theater, the better. The common error is to square up to the impulse like an enemy. When you fight, it grows. When you breathe and decide on a small gesture, it shrinks. Apply it now, in the work hallway, in the elevator, in the coffee line. Before the tap, 3 cycles of 4 to 6, and the short question. You hand yourself back the helm. Hammerline. You govern the present gesture. And notice how that crack makes room for the next move without brute force. The second piece is the micro-block lever. The task looks like a mountain. Your brain wants quick sugar. You create a small win. 5 minutes on the timer just to start. If it's studying, 1 paragraph. If it's a spreadsheet, 3 cells. If it's a proposal, the first sentence of the email. Don't promise I'm going to crush it today. Promise little and deliver. Visible timer, phone out of arm's reach, 1 window on the screen. Feel the urge to escape? 3 cycles of 4, 6, and back to the point. Use it in a real example. A report you've been kicking down the road for a week. You open the file, write the title, fill the first line, save and breathe. 5 minutes. If you want to continue, great. If not, you've already cracked the crust. Hammerline. Small action now beats perfect intention later. And curiosity sparks. What if this micro-block became a daily habit that naturally grows to 10 minutes when it gets easy? The third piece targets mental noise. Scrolling stuffs your head with issues that don't fit inside you. You dump them on paper. 2 minutes with a timer in hand. First minute, pour out everything spinning around, no formatting. Second minute, circle what depends on you today and strike through what doesn't. What depends becomes the next gesture. What doesn't goes back onto the page. It's not indifference, it's hygiene. Typical error. Trying to save the planet on your phone at 2 in the morning. Apply it when your chest speeds up after 5 news items in a row. Close tabs, 2 minutes of dumping, 1 small gesture tied to what's under your control. Hammerline. Clarity reduces the need to escape. And with a clean head, your breathing goes long again, almost on its own. A cold screen at night is a soulless morning. You create a landing. 3 minutes well designed. Halve the brightness, turn on the warm filter, Put the phone to charge outside the bedroom or across the table. Do long exhalations for 2 minutes and fix your gaze on a neutral point on the wall. If you want, warm your hands by rubbing and cover your eyes for 30 seconds. Sleep responds to signals. You send the signal and the body gets the message. If you can't take the phone out of the room, make access harder. Social apps inside a folder on the second page with a time limit. If you need to open it after hours, have someone else enter the passcode only in an emergency. Common error. Thinking sleep arrives from exhaustion. Sleep arrives from ritual. Hammerline. Warm light at night, hot focus in the morning, blue light at night, cold mind the next day. Tomorrow you'll feel in your skin what changes and turn data into simple discipline. The fifth piece is a stated boundary without guilt. Links, requests, take a quick look, keep coming. You preserve focus with short, respectful phrases. You say, not now, I deliver at 4 and I'll get back to you after. You say, during focus, no apps. If it's urgent, call me. You say, I need one more day to do it right. If you absolutely need it today, I'll deliver the essentials and adjust the rest tomorrow. No irony, no soap opera, clarity and firmness. Classic error, apologizing for existing. You're not rejecting people, you're defending quality. Use it today. Pick a 90-minute block. Tell whoever needs to know beforehand. Shut off everything that isn't a real human. If someone insists, repeat the same phrase without justifying and return to the task. Hammerline, a stated boundary is respect for you and for the other. And that edge gives you time to redesign your environment. Environment decides half the game. The shortcut kills intention. You hide the candy. First page of your phone only with creation and work tools. Social and news apps on the second page inside a neutrally named folder. Notifications off for everything that isn't a flesh and blood person. Loud groups muted or archived. Focus mode switches on automatically at the chosen time and blocks the banners that hijack your peripheral vision. This takes 3 minutes, then you test it. Try to open the feed. Notice how the path got longer? That space gives your awareness time to wake up. Hammerline, when the shortcut disappears, the habit loses speed. You're not betting only on willpower, you're betting on daily design. You train feeling without acting. It sounds counterintuitive, but it frees you. The impulse is a short wave. If you surf it for half a minute, it breaks without dragging you. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. Find the exact point where the urge shows up in your body and keep attention there while you exhale slowly. Don't bargain with thoughts. Don't build a story. Just the sensation rising and falling. I'll give you the 2-minute technique that seals this elegantly in a moment. First, let's adjust your morning so the day starts with you in command. When you wake, you decide the first move. 5 minutes without a screen, feet on the floor, a glass of water, a simple stretch for neck and shoulders, 3 quick lines about what matters today. You whisper, I enter my day before I enter other people's day. This changes your morning tone. Typical error, waking up with your face pressed to someone else's showcase. Hammerline, whoever decides the first move sets the day's rhythm. With the rhythm set, you prepare the afternoon danger zone. Afternoon charges a steep price. Energy dips. The feed becomes dessert. You create smart friction. Phone 2 steps away, not by your side. Single task window, a visible 15-minute timer, a promise made in a low voice. After this block, if you still want to, you'll scroll consciously for 2 minutes and come back when it rings. Notice the keyword. Consciously. You're not banning everything. You choose the time, choose the dose, choose to return. Sabotaging error. Just a quick peek in the middle of the block. Half a peek becomes half an hour. Hammerline, visible choice beats invisible impulse, and you start to see clearly when your physical energy is asking for a real break instead of digital stimulus. Comparing yourself to others feeds the spiral. Your brain reads a stage as the truth. You change the ruler. You compare with who you were yesterday. Mark an X when you complete 5 minimums: breathing, micro-block, dump, boundary, landing. 5 X's make a week. Sequence becomes quiet pride. Likes become data, not a measure of worth. Hammerline. Discrete progress beats noisy showcase. If loneliness tightens, you anchor in your senses. Smell the coffee, feel the wood grain, sense the air temperature on your skin. Hear the street. 2 minutes present in a concrete world shrink the appeal of a fabricated world. At home, scrolling masks absence. You're there and not there. You return with an embodied decision. Turn off the screen, plant your feet on the floor, look into the eyes of the one you love and whisper, "I'm here, fully." 2 minutes of full attention beat 2 hours of scattered presence. Common error, dropping the screen while leaving the mind wandering. Give it a landing, a simple card game, a short conversation without checking the phone, a hug that lasts 3 full breaths. Hammerline. Presence has a body, not just intention. If your work requires social media, you need a container. Set usage windows. Open at 10 and at 4, 15 minutes each, with a defined objective. Research, reply, publish, exit. Outside those windows, passcode and block. If a real urgency arises, phone call. The rule is clear and shared with whoever needs to know. Classic error, using "it's part of my job" as a free pass for distraction. Hammerline. A task without a container turns into a current. Adjust your inner language. Scolding creates rebound. Kindness needs an edge. Talk to yourself the way you would to someone you respect. When you slip and notice, don't humiliate yourself. You say, "Noticed, returning now." No promising to overcompensate. No cascading guilt. You come back and make the next small gesture. The brain learns that returning is safe. Return becomes reflex. Hammerline. Returning without drama preserves energy for what matters. Pause with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Hold one. Exhale slowly. Type in the comments a single anchor word that will pull you back to the right move today when your thumb acts on its own. It can be calm, ground, focus, presence, root. Naming changes posture. Seeing others' name reminds your brain that this is collective training. And keep this line in your chest to mark the middle of your day. You don't need to defeat the internet. You need to choose yourself 2 minutes at a time. Now, the tactical climax, the 2-minute technique that closes the loop. When the itch for the feed shows up, you feel it without obeying and use your body as an anchor. One hand on your chest, the other on your abdomen. Inhale for 4, hold 1, exhale for 8. As the air leaves, widen attention to the skin of your face and the pull of gravity in your feet. Say mentally, "I can feel this," and continue. Then transform the energy into a minimal task gesture. Type 3 words, drag a file, wash a dish, fold 1 piece of clothing, send a 1-line email. If the impulse returns during the gesture, repeat 1 more cycle of 4-8 without fighting and continue. You don't wait for motivation. You create traction. Hammerline that seals it. Sensation doesn't command you. It only passes through you. With each repetition, the urge loses power and you gain quiet self-respect. Maybe you want a short Stoic reminder to keep in your pocket. The obstacle is the way. Or, if you prefer another image, you own the opinion you choose. No speech needed. Just the reminder that the discomfort appearing is training that strengthens you and that your reaction is ground you can master. The world rains stimuli. You respond again and again. Repetition shapes character. You're not chasing perfection. You're cultivating consistency. Let's drop into the specific terrains where scrolling usually wins. Long lines and social anxiety. You breathe 4 to 6 for 1 minute. Look around like a photographer, not a judge. Find 3 geometric shapes in the environment. A rectangle, a circle, a triangle. Name them softly. That pulls the brain from commentary into vision. When your hand wants the phone, Open your notebook and write one line about something you want to remember from this day. One line. Close it. The line moves. You moved with it. Studying stuck by too many tabs. Close everything and leave a single article. Read one paragraph and retell it in a low voice as if explaining to a 10-year-old. If you understand, keep going. If you don't, mark the word that jammed you and search only that for 3 minutes on a timer. Don't get lost in side links. 3 minutes. Return. When the urge hits, remember identity. Compare with you from yesterday. One more line today already puts you one step up. Hammerline. Simple explanation cuts elegant confusion. Work with active chat and tight deadlines. Set response intervals. Every 30 minutes, take 5 for messages. Outside that, hard focus. Communicate this cadence to whoever matters. Prepare a standard reply that's kind and firm for messages outside the block. Avoid long justifications. Deliver predictability. Error. Handling everything in real time like a firefighter. Not everything is a fire. Hammerline. Predictability earns respect. Sleepless night and the urge to dive into the feed to numb out. You recognize the function scrolling is trying to fulfill. Reduce the scary silence. Offer another way. Dim light, long exhale, relax the jaw, tongue resting on the floor of the mouth. Heavy eyes. Imagine your body sinking into the mattress as if the bed were warm sand. If thoughts invade, repeat mentally in your breathing rhythm. I let go. You don't fight thoughts. You let them pass like cars on an avenue seen from above. If the itch still comes, get up. Grab paper, write 3 lines to unload, go back to bed. Hammerline. Sleep is an invitation, not a demand. You invite it with signals. Living with loved ones who send links all the time. You anticipate the conversation at a neutral moment. Say with clear care, when I'm focused, I'll check later. If it's truly important, call me. If it's just for fun, save it for the evening and we'll watch it together. At night, 10-minute block to laugh together. You honor the bond without letting the feed devour your presence. Hammerline. Bonds are nourished by eye contact, not just link to link. When you fall, because falling is part of it, practice the short return. You realized you got lost? Don't tally up wasted time. Cut and come back. Close the app. 3 cycles of 4-6. First minimal gesture of the task. 15 minutes of focus. Then review what pulled you in and adjust your environment or boundary phrase for tomorrow. Hammerline. You fell, you rose, you learned, you moved on. No drama, no soap opera, just practice. Maybe you feel guilt for spending years on this. Guilt doesn't turn the wheel. Responsibility does. You don't need an epic story. You need one well-made day. Then another. You collect small wins. Ask for help if needed. Talk to someone you trust. Adjust expectations. If the anxiety is heavy, if the sadness is deep, if sleep has been broken for weeks, seek a professional. Courage isn't denying pain. Courage is asking for the right support. Now, zoom into 2 fronts that accelerate gains: energy and light. Take care of your breathing throughout the day with 25-second micro pauses. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8, 3 cycles every time you switch tasks. That lowers your baseline arousal and makes the feed less tempting. Also, adjust light. Morning with natural light on your face for 5 minutes whenever possible. Evening with warmer, indirect light. Your internal clock thanks you. Hammerline. A body that rests wants less escape. If the urge to check shows up during hard conversations, use the verbal presence protocol. Eyes on eyes, low breathing, a short phrase to keep you on track. I'll listen to you to the end. If your mind drifts, return and repeat. The screen becomes a cane when the talk gets heavy. You choose to stay. Hammerline. Presence is courage applied. If the trigger is boredom, create 2 minutes of micro-creativity. Sketch a clumsy doodle. Write a bad haiku. play two notes on an instrument. Don't chase a result. Transform restless energy into a creative gesture. Boredom turns into fertile ground instead of a shortcut to the feed. Hammerline, creating disarms the impulse to consume without end. If the trigger is perfectionism that paralyzes you, use the release phrase, "small done today beats perfect never." Apply it where it hurts. A one-line email instead of the perfect email. A 10-minute workout instead of the ideal workout that never happens. One bad page you'll edit tomorrow. Perfectionism demands the feed because the feed eases the feeling of inadequacy. When you act small, you dismantle the trap. Hammerline, honest minimum opens the road to the maximum possible. If the trigger is social anxiety from notifications, change the channel. Agree on a priority code with important people. If it's urgent, call. If it's necessary, message with a clear title in the first line. If it's just for later, no pressure. You turn the panic of missing something into a simple system of communication. Hammerline, public clarity reduces private panic. If the trigger is empty curiosity, use the question that closes the hole. Does what I really want to know right now help me live better today? If the answer is no, thank your curiosity and let it pass. Curiosity is good when it has direction. Without direction, it becomes a pit. Hammerline, curiosity with a compass becomes knowledge. Without it, distraction. If the trigger is the sense that I'm late in life, use the season ruler. Ask, which season am I in? Planting, cultivation, or harvest? If it's planting, patience and consistency. If it's cultivation, care and adjustment. If it's harvest, focus and delivery. Comparison loses its charm when you keep your own season. Hammerline, right season, right timing. Before we finish, remember the central technique for when nothing else works. The urge appears. You feel without obeying. One hand on your chest, the other on your abdomen. Inhale for 4, hold 1, exhale for 8. Locate the sensation in your body and observe it as texture, temperature, movement. Turn it into a minimal task gesture. Repeat as many times as needed. The exit stays open because you're not trying to rip the urge out by force. You're letting it pass and choosing to act. Recap with me, alive and concrete. You swapped the trigger for awareness. You dug an exit with micro blocks. You washed the mind with a 2-minute dump. You redesigned the environment and cut shortcuts. You defended your time with short, respectful phrases. You anchored the night so the body recovers what the day spends. You stopped fighting the impulse and learned to feel without obeying. You put it all into practice with a 2-minute protocol that works anywhere. Long breathing, body attention, and a minimal gesture. Pain becomes data, sensation becomes passage. You go back to being the author of your own rhythm. For the next 24 hours, choose a minimal, measurable commitment. 2 5-minute micro blocks with the phone out of reach, a 2-minute mental dump after lunch, and a 3-minute landing before bed. Write your anchor word in the comments to consolidate it. Stick around if you want to keep building this useful calm every day. There's an episode coming on how to shield your morning mood with 3 simple, objective steps. And remember, this is educational and doesn't replace healthcare. If your anxiety or your mood is knocking you down hard, seek professional help. Taking responsibility for your mind is a sign of strength, not weakness. Before we close, add one simple habit that supports all the rest. Short movement to sweep the fog. 3 times a day, stand up for 90 seconds and do something that moves your blood without breaking you. 10 squats, 20 quicker steps down the hall, a chest-opening stretch pulling your shoulders back. The body wakes, the brain breathes better, the feed loses flavor. If you prefer something even softer, splash water on your face and do long breathing while looking far away for a minute near the window. Hammerline, a body that moves gives your mind less stage to ask for escape. And end with an identity gesture on paper. Write one line declaring who you choose to be today in relation to your attention. Short, direct, possible. Read it softly and begin. When the urge comes, remember that line and choose again.